Hello everyone, it's Dean the Artist, right after the previous recording, and I am intending to complete this. So, the heat of the summertime sun beats down on my sweating brow. Dabbing it with a handkerchief doesn't help too much in making me any more comfortable. Giving up on the idea of getting more done today, I stop and lean against one of the overpass fences, resting my bag on the ground. Stores in the town below Yamaku are well stocked and offer enough variety for me to get by. But at least an occasional shopping trip to the city is something that can't really be avoided. I've been here a few times now. The city's layout is getting more familiar, and the nostalgia from its atmosphere is beginning to wear off. I realize that I've begun to wheeze. I sound like an old man that's overexerted himself, and having to connect that to the fact that I'm the source is a bit disturbing. I put a hand on my chest and concentrate for a bit to make sure I haven't gone far enough to cause further problems. Thankfully, my heart is acting normally. There's no dull pain and the beating is regular, albeit fast-paced, as I recover from overdoing things in this kind of heat. I hate my body. It's frustrating to be held back. Even more to be held back by a fear of my life being ended when doing something as simple as walking around the city for a while. As I ponder on my health, I feel my pocket vibrating. By the time my phone's begun to ring, my hand is already fishing for it. I glance at the screen. Shows a caller number I don't recognize. Strange. Shrugging, I press the button to answer the call, bringing the phone to my ear. Hello? Hello? Hanako speaking. The sound of a couple short breaths can be heard, but no actual speech is forthcoming. Hello? Hazao? It's Hanako. Her voice is really easy to place, even if I've never heard it over a phone before. Hanako? Sorry, I wasn't expecting you to call. What's up?
You're not busy? I was wondering if you would like to
Meet up? Yes, I mean, she sounds really wound up about this. I can hear muffled voices in the background, and it's about time for afternoon tea, so I guess she'll want me to meet her at the Shanghai or something. Yeah. That sounds fine. Are you at the Shanghai?
I'm in the city.
Hanako's here? Alone? That's a surprise. It's a little wonder she's like this. If she's surrounded by people and entirely by herself. That works out well. I'm just wandering around there now. Where are you? Hanako managed to stammer out the street name, address, and some basic directions to where she is. Luckily, it's not too far, so I agree to see her soon before hanging up. I look up to the sky. The summer heat is beating down. This is the first time Hanako's asked for us to do something together beyond a simple board game, and the first time, at least, since I've known her, that she's come to the city by herself. Maybe this means that Lily was right. By the time I managed to stagger up to the cafe where Hanako is, I started to wheeze again. I'm sweating so much that I feel like a melting popsicle, and I can barely hold the bag in my hand. I need to sit down, badly. The tables outside are all occupied by busily chatting couples and girls gossiping between themselves. The contrast between the different age groups and fashions of the people here and the people from the town near Yamaku is striking. I scan over the people sitting at the tables, but I can't see Hanako. Did she say she was sitting outside? So I must just be missing her. Not difficult given how small she usually tries to make her presence. I look around again, more slowly this time, taking particular care to see if I could find Hanako's hat. It's pretty distinctive, and I'd be pretty surprised if she wasn't wearing it. There she is, sure enough. Her head is kept low, and the table she's sitting at is right beside the building in an inconspicuous corner. I walk up to where she is and make sure that I have her attention before I sit, lest I give her a scare. She notices me and gives a small wave as I arrive at her table.
Are you feeling okay?
I try my best to laugh it off, but doing so just makes me more out of breath. Not very fit these days, don't mind me. Hanako nods, but still looks a bit put off. Now that I get a good look at her face, something about her seems a bit different. I'm not sure if my eyes are playing tricks on me, but she looks kind of nice. Her eyes move upwards to look at me, before quickly flicking down again. I begin to think this is going to be a rather quiet meeting. but a waitress thankfully arrives and sits down a cup of tea in front of Hanako. Hanako almost automatically turns slightly away and lowers the side of her head. It's an amazingly practiced motion, and she does a good job of its intended purpose, hiding her scars from someone who is leaning close. Her right arm is still laying on the table though, with the scarring on the back of her hand quite visible. It catches the waitress' eye and I move to quickly distract her. "Excuse me, may I place an order?" The waitress nods and gives me a couple of seconds to look at the menu. "Could I have a mango smoothie, please?" She gives a nod, almost enthusiastically bouncing inside. Everything is so different in the city in more ways than one. Hanako looks back up towards me and adjusts her hat a little. If she noticed the waitress staring at her scars, she doesn't show it.
Not coffee?
I think I'd die from this heat if I had something like coffee right now. Resting my head on my hand, I look at my quiet companion. She seems taken aback, a very unexpected reaction to my lame joke. An unwelcome emotion bubbles up inside me as I realize her reason why. Unlike most in Yamaku, indeed, unlike anyone there that I'm aware of, my condition goes beyond limiting the activities I can do, or to be more precise, breaching those limits could have much more grave consequences. Thankfully, it's something that's rarely come up since I entered Yamaku. I thought that it was so rare that Hanako and Lily might not think of it at all. It turns out I was wrong. Hanako silently drinks her tea while I wait for my drink, confirming that it's the right temperature with a small sip before she begins in earnest. I feel guilty for being the cause of an uncomfortable silence, since in the past I've been kind of hard on Hanako for those. Eventually, the same waitress as before bounces up, handing me my drink. I gather change from my pocket and drop it into her waiting hand before she goes off to attend to another customer. My eyes linger on her as she walks away.
Do you think she looks pretty?
Hanako is following my gaze, her eyes taking in the waitress that served us. I feel my blood slowly going to my cheeks as I rest my smoothie back on the table. Nah, can't really say I'm into... can't really say that I'm really into that look. She just looked like an old friend I knew before my heart attack. Yeah.
Did you have many friends?
I had a few at my previous school, though I wouldn't say a lot. The four of us just hung around together after school and stuff.
Do you still talk to them?
I shake my head. No, we gradually lost contact while I was stuck in the hospital. Yeah, sometimes you can't really control those things. Anyways.
You're not saddened by that or angry?
Hanako looks genuinely surprised. I guess it's the right reaction. Well, life did move on for them while I was stuck in the ward. I was pretty sore about it at the time, but now it's just a bunch of nice memories. Besides, once I came to Yamaku, I found new friends as well. It's quite a whitewash of what my feelings were back then. I went through some dark times during my stay at the hospital, and I really am glad that Hanako and Lily were around to help me after I left it. Hanako blushes as we both get down to enjoying our drinks. She seems to have calmed down since I arrived, and I've started to feel a little better now that I've had the chance to rest a bit. So this is getting to be a nice outing already. Even if she's calmer than before though, she's still fidgeting a bit. She runs her hand down one of her bangs as I try to think of something to say. That's right, I was going to ask... Hanako tilts her head quizzically. I didn't know you had a mobile phone. How'd you get my number?
Lily gave it to me.
I should have guessed. You know, you could have just asked. I'd have given it to you. Want to exchange email addresses? Hanako nods, setting down her drink and fishing out her phone from her pocket as I do the same. It's surprisingly the same model as mine. Pink, though. Nice phone. She looks to me with a curious expression before noticing my phone and giggling. It's one of those very few times I've seen Hanako let her guard down enough to do such a thing.
I didn't pick it out myself, though.
Oh?
It was a present from Lily. I never really needed a phone, and I couldn't afford one, so she bought me one for Christmas, though, saying that we could use it to keep in touch.
Hold on. Did y'all see that? Something went wrong with my computer, I'm sorry. They see each other basically every day anyway, and both in and out of school. Then again, Lily does have her class representative duties and other friends that she talks with. It'd probably help for situations like this too when she's gone away for a while. Lily's a very special person to you, isn't she?
She is. I love her very much.
Hanako looks down and smiles as she thinks of her. None of my friendships were as deep as theirs, and I have to admit to myself, I'm a little jealous of their relationship. We tell each other our email addresses and thumb them into our respective phones, and I get Hanako's number from earlier and put it into my contacts list.
Done. That makes 3 now.
3?
Lily, Akira, and you.
Ah, Akira. She's an interesting person, isn't she?
She is. She's also really nice, though. Her suit makes her look a bit cool.
I'm a little surprised you know each other well, with what with her job taking up so much of her time. Hanako looks down a little, and takes another sip of her drink. If I wasn't looking intently at her face, I'd missed a small smile perched on it. I guess when she knows so few people, those she knows must mean a lot to her.
How many do you have?
Me, about 9 or 10. I hesitate to go into them for fear of rubbing the fact that Hanako doesn't have any parents, or apparently even close relatives. 2 of those are Shizune and Misha too, which is another can of worms. I imagine that Lily would have more than both of us put together, probably. Hanako gives a childish giggle, and I can't help smiling. It's a good feeling that she's gotten this comfortable around me. At times like this, I feel like I'm getting close to talking to her true self. Do you mind if I ask something that I've been wondering? Hanako shakes her head as she takes a last sip of her tea, finishing it off. You don't seem very jealous of Lily having lots of friends. Don't you want to make some more friends yourself, or get to know some of hers?
I'm not jealous. I don't like people, so I don't mind not having many friends.
That's really not the answer I was expecting. She doesn't look fearful or sad when she says this, but rather quite serious. Hanako rubs her arm awkwardly, having taken my quietness as a reason to continue. I'm not really sure what I should say, so I end up simply giving her my attention in silence.
In middle school, I got bullied a lot. I was called names and got excluded from work groups and sports teams. There were worse things too.
And that's what made you not like other people? She shakes her head.
That was elementary school.
I feel bad for bringing this up now. Adults have enough problem dealing with Hanako's scarring, children will be all the worse. I had assumed that the way she tried to make her presence not felt was just to avoid people staring at her, or because she was afraid of them. Certainly not because she genuinely did not want to react with them in the first place as well. I noticed the condensation from my neglected smoothie forming a little puddle around the bottom of the cup, so I take the opportunity to finish it off. As I drink, she begins to fiddle with her phone. It looks like she's remembered the people around her again and begun to tense up. It isn't exactly a cheap phone. I had to save up for quite a while to afford one when I got mine. If Lily went to a private school, she probably wouldn't have much trouble getting one for a present, though. Watching her fiddle with it gives me an idea. Hey Hanako, wait for me, I'll be right back. I put the now empty cup down, slip my phone into my pocket, and begin to move off. Carefully stepping around the bag I placed beside my feet. Thankfully sitting around while talking to Hanako has helped me feel a lot better than before.
Well, where are you going?
Just stay there, I'll be back in a bit. As much as I would like to jog back, I know full well that I couldn't. I end up walking back to the cafe, a little blue bag in my right hand. Hanako notices me quickly, looking about as confused as she did when I left. I deposit the diminutive bag in front of her and sit back down.
Is this?
It's for you. You can open it.
But...
Go on. She looks very unsure about it, but eventually gives in, slowly opens the bag and picks its contents out. A silver chain phone strap dangles from her fingers, ending in a delicate flower. It isn't exactly a masterwork of jewelry, but it's about as much as I could afford. Hanako's eyes light up when she looks at it. It's the kind of reaction I was looking for. Summer sun light glints off the silver as it twists to and fro a little. It's not too ostentatious, but it still looks a little charming. I think it suits her well. Hanako lowers the phone strap to the table and looks to me once more.
But it's not Christmas or my birthday.
It's fine, don't worry about it. I just thought it might be nice to have something to decorate your phone with.
I don't have anything to give you.
I told you it's fine. Friends can give things to each other like this sometimes, right?
Friends.
Hanako lowers her face so much that I can't see her expression. She eventually nods before taking her phone and fiddling with the strap to attach it properly. She looks to me and smiles as she holds up her phone, now adorned with a little flower.
Thank you, Hizao.
Her smile proves infectious. Out of the corner of my eye, I notice a couple giving up and... not giving up. I notice a couple getting up and leaving. That reminds me that the bus back to town below Yamaku will be coming soon. I guess we better be going if I want to catch the next bus back to town. You coming as well?
Yes.
She hastily nods before carefully putting her phone back into her pocket and getting out of her chair. I do the same and pick up the bag I'd left beside me on the way out. We walk side by side as we make our way to the bus station, exchanging no words between us. Hanako's gaze is firmly locked ahead of her, though she looks very happy with herself. I'm not sure what I should say to her, but I'm also not sure that I need to say anything. The fact that Hanako is happy, and happy because of me, is enough to make the load on my arm feel light as a feather.
No.
Finally reaching the classroom after the usual walk from the dormitories, I step inside. My eyes immediately turn to the third seat from the left in the back row, Hanako's seat. It's empty, and after glancing around the classroom, it looks like she isn't here yet. The two girls from the newspaper club are here in the two seats to the left of Hanako's, as well as Shizune and Misha, but that's about it. We exchange morning greetings before I take my seat. I have to admit that this is a bit of a relief. This gives me at least a few more minutes to think. Not that I haven't been doing so previously, ever since our trip to town. Hanako's been on my mind. I still don't know what to make of my relationship to Hanako. I like her, I can admit that much to myself. I want to protect and shield her from the pain she feels. I really don't think my feelings are those of friendship anymore. But that said, I feel like I don't even know her. If I made a move on her, how would she take it? Is she in an emotional state that allows her to make a reasonable decision about a relationship? How would she cope with anything that might happen afterwards? There's also the possibility that I'm completely misinterpreting Hanako. Not a difficult thing to do with someone whose social skills seem to be so underdeveloped. The sound of footsteps comes up to the door, making me perk up. It ends up just being Miki. She barely acknowledges my existence when I accidentally make contact with her. I'm about to look away, but another person comes in not long after she takes her seat. I feel myself freeze as I see Hanako enter. This isn't a rational reaction, but I have no idea how I should act or what I should say to her. For a moment, our eyes meet. And then, just as quickly, she looks away and moves to her seat without saying a single word. As is now usual for the period following classes, my face is buried deep in a book I find thoroughly uninteresting. Studying is not something that comes naturally to me. I didn't study a lot before coming to Yamaku, and until now, I've largely managed to coast through on talent alone. It's frustrating that I can't do that anymore. Judging by the faces of a few other students in the library, I don't think I'm alone in my distaste for this. Misery loves company, I suppose. I decided to spend lunchtime with Hanako, since we haven't had lunch together in a while now. I may as well have spent the time studying, though, aside from pathetically small snippets of small talk, there was barely a word said between us. Why does she keep doing this to me? I just want to protect her, to be there for her. But every time I feel like we're coming closer, we end up further away.
Are you busy?
Hanako? My head whips around in surprise. causing her to retreat in fright. That was bad timing. If I hadn't been thinking about her at that very moment, I probably wouldn't have have been nearly so startled. Sorry, you just startled me. I find myself staring at her longer than I should. So I so I go back to the text lying on the table in front of me. I feel like I'm just staring at the words rather than actually reading. I get the feeling that Hanako can notice this as well, so I sigh and close the book. What's up?
I was just wondering what you were reading.
She looks downcast after my reaction to seeing her. Giving up on the prospect of getting any more work done, I get up and return the book to its place on a nearby shelf. Just an English textbook.
Has it helped?
It helped me realize that I don't like English, yeah. Hanako gives a small giggle. I may muse on the strange state of our friendship, but I do know that such little gestures are things I wouldn't see were I at least some distance closer to her than when we first met. I look at her for a moment, thinking about what I do and what I don't know about her. It's a slightly depressing topic.
Is something wrong?
If I want to know more about her, maybe I should stop being so evasive about it. Talking with Lily as an equal rather than being in constantly a fear of causing her to become upset worked fine. So I should just try a straightforward approach with Hanako as well. Hey Hanako, do you mind if I ask you a question?
I don't mind.
I want to know what your life was like. Your life before coming to Yamaku. Oh boy. She hesitates. I briefly consider backing off, but she seems to be taking the question quite seriously. I sit and watch her silently, letting her take her time. She's not making eye contact with me. It almost looks as if she's arguing with herself into letting herself open up to me more. Her answer finally comes in a stiff, almost reluctant nod. She looks far more tense than she did before I'd asked.
Okay, but in return you have to tell me about your life as well.
I nod and follow her as she begins to walk out the library so we can talk. By now, most of the students have already left the main building, so apart from a few people hovering around club rooms, the hallways are largely empty. I guess we'll start with coming to Yamaku. Let's see. I was in the hospital when my parents first told me about Yamaku Academy. The doctors told me I shouldn't go to my old school anymore. My parents agreed and persuaded me to apply for Yamaku, even though it would mean living away from them for the first time.
It must have been hard for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I have to admit that it was. My parents both work long hours and full time, so having to live reasonably independently wasn't anything new to me. It was the fact I was going to a school for disabled students that hit hardest, I think. And you? A small group of chatting girls passes us as we near the stairs, with Hanako pressing herself tightly to my side until we reach the ground floor. She doesn't usually come this close while we're just walking into school, so I'm a little put off.
The staff at the orphanage offered me some options on what I could do. Middle school hadn't been good, so I thought that Yamaku might be better. It was isolated, and I thought it might be easier to get by here with most of the others being disabled.
It's pretty ironic that the reasons Hanako looked forward to Yamaku are the exact reasons I hated the idea. To me, it felt like I was being shunted somewhere away from society and everyone I knew. To Hanako, it was probably an inviting prospect. What was life like at the orphanage? It was okay. Staff there were nice, and they took care of us. The children there didn't talk to me much, but I didn't really want to talk with them either, so I didn't mind. The orphanage had a little library, so I started to read to pass the time. The staff didn't mind it because it made me easier to handle than any of the other children. You didn't make any friends there? No, I think my life was on hold during that time. I knew that, but I didn't mind. I think her life was on hold for all that time, though. Depending on when the fire happened, that was a huge chunk of her life. No parents, no friends, and apparently no relatives. We walked through the door into the courtyard. I expect to need to avert my eyes from the sun, but by now it's well into sunset. Hanako's eyes keep flicking to me, so I look away from her for a bit.
What was it like in the hospital?
I quickly clear my thoughts and try to refocus them. I hesitate for a bit, but know that I have to tell her. We're close enough for her to feel comfortable telling me this, so it's only fair that I reciprocate. It was okay at times, but at others, it was pretty bad. At the beginning, everyone sent their sympathies and came to visit often. It was like breaking an arm or something. Meeting all my friends was one of the good times. Iwanako came in often as well, more often than anyone else. But there were bad times too. When my friends slowly stopped visiting, I began to realize how grave my situation was. It reminded me that this wasn't just a broken limb, that I was now a different person than before. Even the times Iwanako would spend with me became torturous. By the end, we were reduced to silence, whereas before she'd be talking constantly. But that's how Iwanako always was. She may have been a fragile person, but she would talk constantly to try to hide that fact. Not about anything in particular, just talk. I think the three lowest points would have been when my parents told me I wouldn't be going to my old school anymore, my birthday passing while in the hospital, and when Iwanako left for the last time. We leave the school buildings behind us as we begin to follow the main path through the gardens. There may have been the odd bystander in the school buildings, but outside we're practically alone. What was your middle school like? I liked it. I grew up in a really metropolitan area, and the middle school was nearby, so it was pretty crowded. I didn't mind it, probably because I'm used to being in crowds and around lots of other people. I got good grades, I played soccer with my friends. I spent a fair bit of time hanging out with them after school as well. I did get teased a bit over my hair though. Your hair? I grimaced a little as I put a hand over my hair to cover it. I'd keep getting tufts and strands that refused to flatten or stay where I wanted them, and my mother wouldn't let me just get my hair shaved. It had a habit of popping out, no matter how much I tried to brush it down. It still does a little. I was worried I'd get that reply. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I give a mild laugh and wave it off. It's fine, I know it still does. It feels strange to have someone act so interested in my past. If it were anyone else, I'd think they were just acting polite. But that's something I really don't think Hanako would do. Or if she did, she'd do it so badly that it would be obvious. There are a number of girls in the common room on the ground floor. Hanako presses herself to my side once more as we pass them. I expect her to break off, but instead she continues to cling on to me as we walk towards the stairway. Something about the way she's holding on to me feels different from the usual. I'm left deep in thought as we walk up the stairs and down the hallway. It's only when we stop I look up and realize that I've been following her without question. Why did we come to your dormitory room? She looks straight at the door, without so much as a glance in my direction. Hanako? She moves to answer, but stops herself. Instead, she silently breaks from my side, opens her door, and steps inside. I look up and down the hallway, a bit lost as to exactly what I should do. Shrugging, I decide to follow her since I don't have any reason to do otherwise. Hanako stands in the middle of her room and looks straight at me. It's unnerving when she does this, but it's such an unusual action for her. I open my mouth to speak, but she preempts me. Could you close and lock the door? Hanako's hand reaches for her chest, grabbing her blouse at her heart. I turn and lock the door shut, then freeze. The atmosphere is beginning to feel quite strange. This feeling is only made more profound when I hear the curtains being pulled behind me. It's going to be night soon. We're a guy and a girl in a bedroom. She's closing the curtains, and I'm shutting and locking the door. She can't really have that in mind, can she? I gulp and turn around very, very slowly. Hanako is in the center of the room, but hasn't turned back to face me. You told me about your past, so I have to tell you mine. She takes a deep, shuddering breath and pauses for a number of seconds. Her hands move to her ribbon and begin to tug, all but confirming my thoughts. Hanako? Please, don't say anything. I obediently stay hushed as she slips off her ribbon and continues to unbutton her blouse before working the clip on her bra. The process is slow. Perhaps it just feels slow because of what she's doing, I'm not sure. Frozen to the spot, all I can do is watch as Hanako, hands trembling, unclips her skirt and lets it drop to the ground. Finally, she takes her blouse in her hands and draws it off, her bra falling from her shoulders, and so, Hanako stands in the middle of the room, all but bare save for her stockings and underwear. This is me. All of me. My eyes are immediately drawn to the scarring on her back. The skin on her right side is of a similar texture to that of her face, but is also stretched taut and covering a much larger area. The scarring is by far the worst on the shoulder, buttock, and thigh. Just as my heart attack redefined my life, this is the event that redefined Hanako's. If I'd seen this when I first met her, I'd have been shocked, not only at the sight, but also at the idea that something like this was survivable. But after having had time to get used to the idea, and after seeing the scars on her face and hands and collar, my reaction is more measured. My reaction right now is not due to her scarring, but to her body. The fire happened when I was 8 years old. It was night and we were all sleeping when it started. Hanako's voice trembles, the shaking of her blouse giving away the fact that her hands are doing just the same. I curled up into a ball when the fire swept over me. My mother tried to shield me. That's the only reason I lived. Hanako's eyes begin to moisten, her voice cracking under the combined pressure of exposing herself to me like this and reliving those painful memories from long ago. I want to say something, anything to make her feel better. I can't though. I feel completely useless when faced with a situation like this. She's forcing herself to come so close, yet it's at times like this where I feel most distant to her. I'm sorry for making you see this. There's no point in denying the obvious. I think what I should say now, and what Hanako wants me to say now is the truth, what I genuinely, honestly believe. It doesn't matter. You're a wonderful person, Hanako. Your body doesn't change that. She looks at me for a long time, her breathing uneven as she tries to remain steady amidst the emotions we're both feeling. It feels less like she's looking at me than she's looking through me. I slowly walk towards her and gently place my hands on her shoulders as she lets go of her blouse. She gasps a little, not in fright, but in simple startlement. Being so close to her causes my mind to become a jumble of feelings. The scarring on her shoulder, plain to see and leather-like to the touch, conflicts strangely with her otherwise soft skin and silky dark hair. Hanako is a girl with all that entails. She's taller than usual for a woman, but still has curves in all the right places. The nape of her neck, just visible thanks to her hair slung over her shoulder, is alluring. I know that I'm not pretty like Lily. I just wanted you to see me, the real me. I've already seen the real you, though. You don't need to take off your clothes for that. Her lips are open, just a little. She lets out a sharp breath without thinking as I breathlessly lean forwards and press my lips to hers. The kiss only lasts for a fleeting moment before our faces part, our breathing quick and nervous. The feeling of Hanako's mouth lingers and her eyes remain locked to mine. Oh, are those like Nautilus's cuttlefish? Jeez. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Indeterminate future, okay. I have a feeling I might not get to the good ending of this episode, I'm sorry. My eyes feel heavy as they slowly open, the light from outside making me blink a bit to let them get adjusted. My body feels like lead, and my head feels just as heavy. Walking up to an unfamiliar ceiling is an uncomfortable feeling. It reminds me of the first time I woke up to the dimpled white tile ceiling of the hospital. It's only after spending a few seconds staring up at it that I realize where I am. This is Hanako's dormitory room. I feel as though my heart stopped again, as the events of last night rush through my head. Blood rushes to my cheeks and I shut my eyes once more. There was very little point to getting myself worked up this early though, so I try to push things out of my mind for now. I roll my head to the side to see if Hanako's where she was when I drifted off to sleep. All that there is now is an empty space on the bed and the room beyond. I sluggishly sit up and rub my eyes, before pinching the bridge of my nose and looking around the room. The only person here is me. I'm still bereft in my clothes, and after a quick scan of the floor for them, I notice that they're neatly folded in the corner of the room. Try as I might, I can't see Hanako's anywhere. Taking advantage of the fact that I have some time without anyone around, I get myself dressed for the coming school day in short order, and then I'm alone. Without saying anything more to busy myself with, my mind becomes focused on the fact that I'm standing in another person's bedroom after we spent the night together. But there's not a single sign of her around. My gut proves to be more helpful than my brain at working out this riddle. With a loud growl, it reminds me that she may well just be getting breakfast. I would have liked to wake up next to her, but maybe it's a good thing that I have a few moments alone. Hanako's room, as always, is quite bleak in appearance. There are a precious few decorations, and practically no personal artifacts that aren't hidden away in cupboards and drawers. She's lived here for 3 years, but the room looks as if it's been barely occupied for a single day. I shouldn't overthink this. She might just like living this way, as some do. Having the ability to put such low stock in physical possessions does have its advantages, but even so, it feels a little disconcerting given her past. She said she viewed herself as having had her life on hold while at the orphanage. She certainly lives as if she still does, but after what happened last night, it's pretty hard to imagine that she still thinks that way. The sound of the door handle cracks through my thoughts, and I turn to face it. Sure enough, Hanako comes through and shuts the door behind her. She has what seem to be 2 microwaved instant meals in her hands, so this is a little difficult. Good morning, Hanako. Morning? She gives a little bow before making her way to her desk, setting down both plates. I can now see them to be small satay dishes, their contents steaming with a fork stuck inside the rice of each. I give thanks to her for bringing them in, and we each take one and get down to eating. She sits down in her desk chair while I sit on the edge of the bed. I don't like talking while eating, so the silence between us isn't annoying in and of itself. It's the fact that it only exists because we don't quite know what to say to each other that's off-putting. Hanako glances towards me ever so often as she eats. I only notice her doing so because I'm doing just the same thing. We're eating together as if we're a couple. We even had sex last night, a first for both of us. Something feels wrong though. Maybe that's why we can't say a word to each other as we finish our plates and leave them in the sink. Maybe that's why we leave Hanako's room without holding hands or making small talk. Maybe that's why it feels as if we're further apart than we've ever been before. We enter the classroom together, neither of us so much as glancing at each other. Just after we do, I realize that may have been a mistake. Shizune lifts her eyebrow at the sight, her suspicions raised. We reach the center aisle between the classroom's desks and look at each other. I'm not quite sure what I should say. Did she want me to address her as her girlfriend? As a girlfriend? I didn't think our relationship was... Oh, why does this feel so strange? See you. Okay. I awkwardly hold up a hand as we part and take our seats at our respective desks. I can't even look back to her out of embarrassment. I feel like the gulf between Hanako and me is because of me. Shizune begins to make her way towards me, but then Mutuo enters the room. I'm thankful for his arrival being so well timed, drawing Shizune and her questioning away to wait for another time. I wouldn't have been able to answer her anyway. I like Hanako, but I've never told her what my feelings for her are. Hanako never said she saw me as anything beyond a friend either, yet despite that, we slept together. The bell to signal the beginning of lunch rings out. Mutuo is taken a little off guard, his chemistry lecture being cut off mid-sentence, much to his chagrin. For the entirety of the class, his rambling has passed through one ear and out the other, as my mind mulls over the question of Hanako. I can't get her out of my mind, and by now I've managed to wind myself up about it. I realize that she never said yes to what we did. She didn't say no either, but would she have been able to? She's extremely submissive at the best of times, and no doubt it took her a gargantuan effort to show me her scarring. I decided to try and at least make conversation with her. That would be better than the monosyllabic communication that's been the most we've managed between each other so far today. I walk to her desk, intending to chat, but she awkwardly blushes and looks down even before I come up to her. I take a breath to speak, but find myself lost for words. What in the world should I say to her? Hearing approaching footsteps, I turn to see Shizune and Misha already making their way towards us, no doubt with the intent to start asking troublesome things. A couple of other classmates are looking at us and gossiping between themselves as they throw sidelong glances. They must also have noticed Hanako and me coming in together earlier. I open my mouth to reassure Hanako, but she preempts me. I've gotta go do something. She gets out of her chair and dashes for the door. A couple of the books and pens that were on her desk are sent falling to the floor in a rush. Not many people seem to care about this event. A few look around to see what all the fuss is about, but go back to what they were doing previously soon after. I'm left despairingly looking at the door that Hanako disappeared out of. The idea that running after her passes through my mind, but I'm fairly sure that Hanako can run faster than I can. And besides, what should I say to her once I'd caught up anyway? Eventually, I simply crash down and begin picking up the items that have fallen to the ground from her desk. I feel low in every way, reduced to this as students pass by me and on their way out of the room. I feel a tap on my shoulder. I look up to see Shizune and Misha looking at me. Curiosity about the situation written on their faces, mixed with a slightly apologetic look at the idea that they were partially responsible for what just happened. Hey Chan, if we can help at all... I just shake my head. This isn't a matter for them, and from Shizune's expression and the tone of Misha's voice, I think they know the same thing. Shizune acknowledges my response. He gives a solemn bow before making her way out of the room. Misha soon follows her out, obediently following her role as Shizune's shadow. I pick myself up, books and pens in hand, and place them inside Hanako's desk, with the classroom now empty. I end up just leaning against her desk and thinking to myself in silence. It feels like there's a complete emotional disconnect between Hanako and me. We haven't known each other for all that long, and despite wanting to start going out with her, I really don't know that much about how Hanako views things. I've been studying as hard as I can for exams, but I still don't feel like I have any real sense of direction behind it. I tried to be a friend to Hanako, even if I couldn't tell her my feelings, and all we've done is drive each other apart. I can't even write a letter back to the one girl who ever loved me, Iwanako. What should I do? What can I do? I simply don't know the answer to those questions. I don't know that anybody else can help me with them. Just going back to the way things were would be enough to make me happy, but I know that can never happen. Something changed between us last night. Maybe it changed beforehand and just came to a head then. I know that there's a wall that Hanako has between me and her. I've been hitting that wall every time I've tried to interact with her on any level. But now I'm beginning to think that I have my own wall between us just as much as she does. She had practically dragged my past out of me, and mine was much less traumatic than hers. I want to say it's because I haven't had long to adjust since my heart attack, but I know full well that it would just be an excuse. The one time I can recall when it really felt like she was opening up to me of her own accord, when we were playing billiards in the city, was the one who stopped. I was the one who stopped her from going further. I want to know Hanako better. I want to save our friendship, if not begin a real relationship with her. My mind begins to tick as I sit against her desk, thinking to myself in the empty classroom that we spent so much time in together. I have to talk to Hanako. Alright. Current scene, adulthood. You know what, I'm gonna continue. I pace around in the park, feelings of anxiety rolling over me. Every so often I reach into my pocket to take out my phone, but each and every time I hesitate and end up slipping it back in. If this were any normal situation, I wouldn't be cutting classes. Unfortunately, it isn't, so I find myself in the town below the school at 2 in the afternoon. Ever since I met Hanako, it's been one I've been the one to initiate everything between us, the one that started conversations, went with her wherever she was, suggested what she would do. Today, I don't want to be the only one doing that. My hand dies in my pocket once more. This time I quickly navigate to the texting menu before I have a chance to change my mind again. Hanako, if you want to talk, I'll be at the park in town for a while. Fighting a last message of doubt, I thumb in my message to Hanako and press the button to send it. And now I wait. My part in this has been fulfilled. What needs to happen now is for Hanako to make the decision. It would be meaningless for me to drag her here, since she needs to decide for herself whether she wants to meet me. The apple juice from the vending machine tastes awfully bitter as I swill it down. My grip on the can has caused it to dent slightly in the middle. I shouldn't be this tense, but it's probably inevitable. Hanako is dear to me. What happened in the last couple of days has put a lot of pressure on both of us. The idea of losing all the progress we've made in coming closer to one another and losing our friendship as a whole is deeply unsettling. But even then, I still don't really know how close we are. We may have had sex, but before that, all I knew us was to be friends. All I knew us to be was friends. Maybe we are more than that, but if so, I never realized it. Maybe that's why I feel so uneasy right now. I don't understand Hanako despite all the time we spent together. The minutes are ticking by and I still have no idea whether she'll show up. Hisao? I pause for a moment, almost not believing that I'm hearing the voice that I'm hearing. I drop the can and stand up with a start. Hanako? We look at each other for a few seconds, before Hanako becomes too embarrassed to maintain eye contact and begins to nervously fiddle with a roughly cut lock of hair covering the side of her face. When I went to see Hanako in her room by herself after her breakdown, I had no idea what to say. That was fine then. All either of us wanted was each other's presence. Now though, I feel like I need to talk to her directly. I want to break down this wall between us before it forces us apart for good. Hanako, what we did that night, how should I interpret that? Hanako stops playing with her hair and looks at me, her head cast slightly downwards. She looks ashamed, which is probably a good mirror of how I would look now if I weren't so concerned. I thought you might eventually go away if I was only someone you needed to protect. Thought if I let you do that, you might see me as someone more than that. My first reaction is disbelief. I did do it with her after all. I had plenty of opportunities of where I could have stopped things, stepped back and questioned what we were doing. In the end, though, I didn't. A horrible feeling rises in the pit of my stomach. She offered herself to me because of what she thought I wanted, and now it feels like it took advantage of her. She may have been willing, but only under false premises. I've never been good at hiding my emotions from physically showing, but now was no different. Hanako looks down once more, a strange mixture of depression, regret, and sickness written on her face. Thick silence hangs in the air, save for the breeze blowing through the trees around us. I knew you couldn't look at me that way. Hanako's words are said in little more than a whisper, seemingly directed just as much at herself as to me. In what way? What do you mean? All I ever was to you was a useless person. Just someone to protect, someone like a child. I wanted to be more than you than that, but after so long, I got used to it. The tone of her voice is unlike any I've heard her use before. She sounds disgusted, not at me, but at herself. After I came out of my room, I saw that you started drifting away. I felt I was going to lose you because you wanted somebody you could have that kind of relationship with. You were more quiet in school than before, and you were getting on so well with Yuko, I thought that I might lose you. She thought I was bored of her because I wanted a romantic relationship. But we're friends, right? I wouldn't just abandon you like that, even if what you were saying was true. Friendship was something I thought I'd given up on. I stopped believing in others, but after what happened after the accident... Before the accident happened, I got on well with people and other children. I didn't have many friends, but I didn't mind because I treasured the ones that I had. Afterwards, though, I was called names by others and teased a lot.
It hurt really deeply. The teachers tried to help, but they couldn't do much. And even many of them recoiled just at the sight of me. Among those calling me names and teasing me were the ones I thought were my closest friends. From then on, I believed that it didn't matter if nobody else acknowledged me. All my existence ever did was make people troubled. After all, it was easier if I didn't exist. But after meeting Lily and then you, I tried, but I couldn't make myself think that way again. All that time, she didn't trust me. She thought, just like everyone else in her life had, that she was worthless. Someone to throw away once I got bored with being with her. That hurts. That's the one kind of person I never, ever wanted to be seen as, because I know better than most just how horrible it feels to be thrown away by those I thought by those who I thought liked me. She's cracking from the memory she's bringing up. I feel useless, completely unable to console her. In a strange way, though, I'm almost thankful that she's allowing me to know this. The wall between us is going away, even if it hurts so badly to bring it down. Hanako, if you just told me... Was I wrong? Of course she wasn't. Hanako wasn't wrong. It's difficult to force myself to admit this, but I know trying to deny it is pointless. To me and to Lily, she was someone we tried to protect. She had become to me what I'd become to my friends after my heart attack, a broken person. I liked her, possibly even loved her, but I never acted on that precisely because I thought she was so fragile. I mean, I don't look at you that way now. I got worried about you after what happened to you in class, and I thought I should try to protect you. When you lost yourself in your room, though, I got afraid. I thought you were rejecting me, and it forced me to think a lot about different things. I wasn't rejecting you. She blurts it out with an almost scared tone to her voice, taking me off guard. She quickly becomes embarrassed by her outburst, before clenching her fists and working through what she wants to say in her mind. I wouldn't ever do that, not to you. Even though I was scared, even though I tried to push you away, you still tried to get closer to me. I locked myself away because I was just a burden to you, to Lily, to everyone. Every birthday was the same. Everyone doing their best to pretend that I mattered. Everyone pretending that everything was alright for that one day of the year. I didn't want to exist, but they wouldn't let me. Even after meeting Lily, everything was the same. I was as useless as I'd always been, unable to do anything for her or for myself. I didn't want to be the same way to you. Lily and I were completely wrong. From what she said, everything we did for her, it would have only made her feel worse. Even what little I thought I had right about her was a complete misjudgment. After you locked yourself in your room, I decided to try to work out my past as well and sort out my future. I didn't know how to deal with the things I'd lost by coming to Yamaku, so I was trying to sort them out myself. I thought it would help us become better friends if I did that. Silence hangs in the air again. I try to keep looking at her, but I can't. I feel really low, and though I want to apologize, I don't know how I possibly could. I hear her take a deep breath, and only look back to her after hearing her drop to the ground. The sound of her crying breaks my heart. I know I'm responsible for this, and I know I can't do anything to help her. If Hanako feels ashamed, then I feel all the more so. I rush to her as tears continue to roll down her cheeks unabated, wrapping my arms around her. I don't care about how I must look anymore. I just want to be close to her right now. I'm sorry, Hizao, I messed up everything. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm the one that should be sorry. I was meddling around behind your back, and I never told you anything. I can feel my grip tightening on Hanako as my vision blurs. I can't be bothered trying to hold back now. I have to force my words out as a lump begins to stick in my throat. To tell you the truth, Hanako, I was scared. For the first time since my heart attack, I was really scared. Hizao? I lost so much when I came to Yamaku. I was depending on you more than I ever thought I did. Even now, I still have that hole inside of me. After losing my entire life and everyone I'd known, the thought of losing you as well. But I'm just useless. You're my friend, Hanako. No, you're more than that. I love you, Hanako. I love you so much that the thought of losing you frightened me so much. This is bad.
I'm really letting all of this out. I can't bring myself to look at her face right now.
I'm sorry, Hazao. I can't help feeling a bit happy. For so long, that's what I wanted to hear.
The last of the floodgates break, the sound of her crying permeating the air as her body jerks against mine. We hold each other tightly, connected more closely than ever in our shared grief and our shared happiness. I don't know how things are going to be like after this. Right now, though, I don't care. There's no other person in the world that either of us could possibly share these memories and emotions with. Nobody. After dropping the dirtied can into a bin next to the bench, I take a seat beside Hanako. She puts away the handkerchief I gave her to clean herself up, which hasn't helped much. Then again, I doubt I look much more presentable. Even now, I feel emptied and a bit embarrassed after letting my emotions out in public like that. It's not a bad sensation, though. I think Hanako feels the same way, too. Have you calmed down a bit?
Yes, thank you.
For a while, we just sit and take our time before talking again to one another. We both need a little time to collect ourselves.
The weather is nice at this time of year.
Yeah, it is. I close my eyes for a moment, relishing the feeling of the sun's heat and the cool breeze against my face. The weather is really nice today. Really, really nice. You know, I don't really want to go back to classes right now, do you? She shakes her head as she finishes wiping her eyes with her cuff. The small smile she gives is nice, and it's a reminder of how earnest it can be. Smiling for other people might be a completely normal everyday thing. For Hanako, though, she smiles so rarely and so sincerely that each and every time she does it, I feel a sense of relief and happiness.
I'm sorry for everything.
It's okay. I think we both have a bit to be sorry for.
I know that. I'm too shy. I know you don't want me to be. I don't think I can.
You can change, Hanako. I know that because, even in the time I've known you, you've already changed. To be honest, just being able to sit here and talk to you like this means you changed a lot since we first met.
But it can't be like that for anyone else. I don't have any plans for after school ends either.
Hanako's confidence begins to slide down again, and I think that now I can finally talk to her as an equal. I can do it because I know that we're just the same in so many ways. Just give yourself time, and I think you'll be able to achieve what you want. No, I'm sure that you'll be able to do it. I can see you've been trying, and I have faith in you. And you can depend on me if you feel like you need someone to support you, you know.
But I can't ask that of you.
You can, because that's exactly what I'm asking of you. I'm going through the same thing, you know? It's called love. Hanako smiles. Before I get off the bench to dust myself off, she does the same in short measure. I'm kinda hungry. Want to grab something to eat? She nods vigorously. The way she's smiling, the way she's acting, even just the general air she gives off, I feel as if it's the first time I've seen her genuinely happy. We both make our way onto the street, walking beside each other.
Hazao?
Yeah?
I think I don't really understand you.
I don't think I understand you either. I believe that's fine, though. There's not a single hint of despair in our voices. Not understanding each other is only natural. The walls we set up between ourselves couldn't possibly be broken down in a single day. But that's fine. As long as we take it day by day and try to understand one another, I think everything will be okay. As we walk down the street, though, Hanako's eyes flick to my face and back to the street repeatedly. Is something on your mind? You look restless. She slows before stopping completely. When I turn to meet her, she takes a long, deep breath, looking at my face intently. This expression, I saw it once before on her face. Just once when I accidentally surprised her in her room.
I think I have something I need to give you.
What is it? You don't need to be evasive about it.
I wanted to give you this for a long, long time, but now that I need to, it's too embarrassing.
Don't worry. I'll accept it, whatever it is. She gives a sweet, bashful smile before taking my shoulder in her hand. Then, please accept my first gift to you, Hizao. Hanako? Aw. And that was Hanako's good ending. Yep. Can you face your fears? Reach Hanako's good ending. Honestly, to tell the truth, during the middle of the route, I was thinking of placing this route lower, but like, I believe it has some pretty good themes, and not being such a white knight, right? Like, because how do I say this? It is discouraging, the idea of thinking of people as broken people, if that makes any sense. Like, it's like, I'll get my thoughts together at some point, but yeah, but you know, with the ending there, I realized I do still like this route more than some other routes. But yeah. And honestly, it isn't because like Hanako is like high up there or anything like that. But like, to tell you the truth, in terms of girls, she's probably the worst for Zhao, frankly. But yeah. Anyways. Okay, So we just need one music left. Gallery, let's see. So we still have these two squares missing. That's weird. Anyways. Yeah. Then, oh yeah, this square. That's gonna be something. Anyways. It's gonna be something amazing. I know it. Alright, well, let's see. Yeah, I got a chunk of these now. Yeah, 6 further images. So, yeah. And I know I have, like, yeah, there's, like, a chunk of scenes I have left in Hanako's route. But, got the good ending, which is pretty excellent. Like, I wanted, yeah, it's like an hour now, so, if I did put the good, if I did start this recording session and tried to get all the way to the good ending, it would have been the longest episode at 2 hours, 30 minutes. That's all I'm gonna say. So, thank goodness I broke it up into 2 episodes, so, anyways. Well, I'm going to be taking a break for now, and when I do go back up, right, at the, I think I'm going to try to get the neutral ending first, because there's one here, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to go all the way back to the beginning of this route and get like the other scenes that I missed, and then the bad ending. Probably what I'm going to do next episode or the next couple of episodes. So, it's been Dean the Artist. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna take a kind of a break, right? Again, thank you for watching. Have a nice time. Thank you. Goodbye.